He's John Heder, the actor. 20th anniversary of his starring role in Napoleon Dynamite came out in June of 2004. And what they're going to do tonight, it's a virtual live stream anniversary show. So you watch the movie. It starts tonight at 9:30 Eastern. You can watch the film online with John and Efren Ramirez, who played Pedro, vote for Pedro, and others in the movie. A live chat will enable fans to comment, ask questions, and then it's followed by a post-screening conversation. Portion of the proceeds benefit Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation to fight childhood cancer. Get your tickets before sales close at viewslipstream.com. Ticket sales close 2 hours before showtime, and it's 9:30 Eastern. You can take part in that. We bring in John, and let me start out by asking you the character of Napoleon Dynamite. How much input did you have on how he looked, dressed, and how he sounded?
I would say a fairly big, a large amount. On script there wasn't a lot of description there, but Jared Hess, who I barely knew at the time, he kind of would just do his version to me, kind of like show this is what I think, and then I would be like, oh yeah, yeah, that's how I talked and how my brothers talked when we were younger. So that's kind of I just did my frustrated, like I just kind of kind of switched and moved his, rearranged some of the stuff that he would put out that Jared would do in my own voice. And then, yeah, how he looked, certainly how he dressed. And, we went to like a thrift store and we just started kind of perusing and going through some of the clothing racks and saying, oh, dude, he would wear this. And we just kind of figured that out together. But it was Jared's wife who came up, I think, with the idea for the perm, and Jared had the idea for the moon boots. It was just kind of a little piecemeal. There was never like, this is exactly. We just kind of formed him as we went along.
Did you ever think it was too over the top? Starting with his name, like everything about it. Like I don't know if you were trying to have people believe that there would be a Napoleon Dynamite.
Well, the script that everything we're talking about, I don't know how much you're aware. This was a script for the short film before we made Napoleon Dynamite, and it wasn't called Napoleon Dynamite. It was called Peluca, and the character's name was Seth. So it was very real, very realistic. And when he simply put, Jared had always wanted to make his first movie called Napoleon Dynamite. Just he loved that name. He just thought, what a great name to give to this very grounded, real kind of character. And so I honestly felt like I need some splash to this whole world because everything else about it is like it's locked down cameras. It's very stale, and there's not a lot going on, and it's subtle. So I think this name just helps give it some boom. Really.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
I,
yeah.
and it makes it memorable too, because like all you have to do is say Napoleon Dynamite. Somebody's probably doing an imitation of your voice. How often does that happen in real life? People come up to you and imitate you.
Um, yeah, I think it happens a lot. I mean, not to me per se, I suppose. I mean, yeah, they'll yell stuff out to me. But yeah, exactly kind of what you said. I mean, everybody has their version, and certainly they love to try to flex in front of me. So yes, it still happens daily.
Was there ever talk of a sequel?
There was very briefly and not seriously. I think, the studio once, because this wasn't a studio movie. We made it first, and when we made it, we didn't think we weren't business minded folk. We weren't thinking, oh, we're about to start something. We had no idea anybody was even going to watch it. So yeah, after its success, the studio came to us saying like, what do you think about doing a studio? But really it was kind of just, they came to me and said, hey, because they didn't like gather us together. I knew that separate conversations were happening. And I don't know if they were getting, backlash from Jared's side or that he just wasn't showing interest, but they said, "Hey, would you do a sequel without Jared?" And I was just like, "No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't.
No.
That wouldn't make sense. This is his baby. This is his creation." And so that was the end of that. That was it.
A virtual live stream, 20th anniversary Napoleon Dynamite. You can watch along the screening event taking place. That'll be tonight at 9:30 Eastern. You can watch the film along with John and some of the other characters in the movie. Also, a portion of the proceeds benefit Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation to fight childhood cancer. Get your tickets before sales close at viewslipstream.com. Ticket sales will close 2 hours before showtime. When did you know that you had kind of hit, like that now all of a sudden your life had changed?
I think when I just kind of it felt overnight within the space of like 4 months. I knew something different was definitely afoot when we premiered at Sundance. Sundance Film Festival was its premiere, and it was the first time anybody had seen it. And we got in the very first screening for any of us, the cast members as well. We had never seen it, and we got a standing ovation. People were going nuts, and so we were like, that was the beginning. I knew there was something different, but still kind of was the beginning. And you're like, well, okay, this is an indie crowd. I don't know if this is going to go mainstream, but it was, once it hit theaters that summer, and once they brought me on to, it was David Letterman's show, and I felt like, okay, so we did something right.
When's the
People are
last time
paying.
you When's the last time you dressed as Napoleon?
I actually just dressed as him for we just shot this Orida tot commercial. I know. It's like what took so long? I hadn't
Yeah,
dressed.
exactly.
I never dress in the character. I have a couple, items of original wardrobe that I still fit in, but no, I never dress up as, the character. But this opportunity came along for the 20th anniversary, and we thought, and I think it was just Orida and I were like, yeah, duh, why haven't we done this before? So yeah, that that was
What
fun.
did you save from the movie?
What did I save from the movie? I say,
Outfits.
yeah, I got I don't know if you recall, there's the pair of pants that I hide the tots in the pocket. It's like the parachute pants style pants. I kept those. I got a couple of the t-shirts and some of the posters that were hanging up in his room. I had the Vote for Pedro shirt. Um, and they gave me, everybody's like, did you get to keep the moon boots? I was like, wow, I had to keep the moon boots. I don't know if I got to keep the moon boots. They were pretty nasty by the end. I kept them kind of vacuum sealed in a bag so that they wouldn't contaminate the air and poison my children.
You were hosting Saturday Night Live when Ashley Simpson had the musical meltdown?
No, it was that was her comeback. So she had already had that
Oh.
faux pas, and then I was there for her redemption.
How nervous were you with when you threw it to her, whoever threw it to Ashley Simpson, that everything was going to go okay this time around?
Oh, I mean, I think she was the one. I was like, oh, I got nothing to lose if she messes up again. I mean, hopefully people remember this episode for me and not her. But if she messes up again, it will get some eyes. But I'm sure she was more dry heaving back there and just like, oh, what am I gonna do?
Who's the character that you miss the most from Napoleon Dynamite?
Um, the character, well, I mean, Kip is kind of like all, I feel like most of the rest of the cast. Kip is kind of our favorite. Um, he's the unsung hero who is just I don't know, he's just a character. I love Kip.
And, just the whole thing that he has this gangster attitude and he's got his girlfriend and I don't know.
You
I guess
see,
a lot of the movie was that people didn't really have any self awareness of who or what they were.
yeah, I think that's the charm of the film is you had everybody kind of was just going after their own thing. They had no frame of reference. They're not plugged. Nobody was there telling them what they were doing was wrong or stupid. I mean, that is the story of a typical nerd, an outcast, is that they feel like they're outcast from the other cliques. But in this world, in Preston, Idaho, and small town, small, tiny town USA, even the jocks and the cool kids could take some lessons in coolery and fashion and fads and stuff. It's like no one's really telling them, and they're making their own cool. So I think, yeah, with Kip especially. I mean, Pedro, here's this brand new kid straight from Juarez, Mexico, and he runs for president and he's confident as all get out. And Kip is like, yeah, I'm gonna start dating this lady I met online, and sure, let's change my wardrobe. And everybody goes out with confidence, and I think you see Napoleon tracking that, and that's what's fun because even Napoleon has his own brand of confidence, but he still learns from others.
When you go to a wedding reception, are you asked to dance?
Dude, I have a trigger when I hear that song play at a club or not that I go clubbing, but any kind of event. When they play that song, I'm like, oh gosh, I start looking around, and sometimes people are aware and sometimes they're like, oh, did they play that? Um, yeah, it is. I avoid weddings now because I feel so pressured into having to perform, and I'm not my spry self that I used to be. But I still try. I still work on it. I still work on it.
Yeah, but John, it could be worse. You could be Kevin Bacon in Footloose. They're going to play that song every time he goes to a wedding reception.
Exactly. So I think Kevin and I are both in the same boat. We just don't attend weddings anymore. We just send
Good luck
them
with this.
a registry gift, and that's it.
Good luck with the screening. Great to talk to you again. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
John Heder, 20th anniversary, big night tonight as you can do a watch-along screening. Takes place at 9:30 Eastern. ViewSlipStream.com. Ticket sales will close 2 hours before showtime.